Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be covering the rest of the week that was in pro wrestling. So that's going to be the results for TNA Turning Point, full review of WWE SmackDown, and AEW Collision. No Rampage this week because it happened right after Collision, which is when Survivor Series started. Cover Survivor Series tomorrow. Stay tuned for that one. But we're going to go start with the results for TNA Turning Point. We have Mike Santana defeating Frankie Kazarian. Joe Hendry beating Brian Myers, Eric Young, Hammerstone, John Skyler, and Rhino in the six-way Thanksgiving turkey match, in which the man who suffered the actual defeat, ate the pin, wears a turkey suit. That was Brian Myers. Moose successfully retains his X Division title over Laredo Kid. Steve Macklin beats Josh Alexander in a no disqualification match. Matt and Jeff Hardy, along with Ace Austin, beat Kushida, Zachary Wentz, and it was supposed to be the other rascal, Trey Miguel, but he had travel issues, so his replacement, Matt Riddle. And thank God the Hardys and Ace Austin won. Masha Slamovich defeats Jordynne Grace, successfully retaining her Knockouts title in a best 2 out of 3 falls match, beating Grace 2-1. And Nick Nemeth, along with a little help from JBL of all people, retained his TNA World title against Eddie Edwards. So, definitely interesting goings on for TNA. I do hope against hope that the JBL, Matt Riddle involvement is minimal. We now go into a full review of WWE SmackDown, the go-home show for Survivor Series, War Games. We start off with a little recap of the Bloodline segment for last week, because of course we do. Then we get the Women's Face War Games team. So that's Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Naomi, recently recruited Bayley, and I'm forgetting someone. Who am I forgetting? Rhea, Bianca, Bayley, Naomi, Io Sky. And with Rhea, starts us off pretty much saying, it's obvious, not everyone on this team is best of friends, but none of that matters, because tomorrow we go to war. We all have someone in this match we want to get our hands on, and no one will be able to stop us. Naomi chimes in then saying, that's right, Nia and her lapdogs will get what they deserve, and promise it's going to be felt. Bianca chimes in, and I don't know who took out Jade, but we'll find out. Then Rhea continues, Liv, you'll wish you'll never met me as we go to war. This brings out the heel War Games team, so that's Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Candice LeRae, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez. With Liv starting out saying, oh, it's so funny you guys think you're winning. Nia then chimes in saying, oh, forgot Bayley is actually the one that took out Bianca. Look where she is now. And then Io, Bayley stabbed you in the back. You'll implode before you get in the ring. Bayley then replies, And we all see you manipulating Tiffany Stratton since day one. Liv replies, "You've obviously lost your touch. It's interesting you get a pass." Then Rhea finally chimes in saying, "Liv, stop wasting everyone's time. You're not going to be able to hide come War Games, and you're going to have to face me." Liv replies, "You're right. I'm pulling it all in, and I'm going to break your face." Rhea still has the face covering on, which, come War Games, you'll see. Rhea replies, "I'm going to break you so bad, Dom wouldn't even want to look at you." And that the heels tease they're going to get in the ring. They end up bailing. So then the faces go outside the ring and they just brawl everywhere. Officials out to break it up. Faces hold the ring. And yeah, that was the segment. This felt honestly a little bit forced. Like this was more of an obligation than an actual want to put this on. I don't know. This segment just felt weird and awkward and clunky. But it gets a lot better from here because we finally get our first match, as it's Andrade taking on Shinsuke Nakamura. This is Nakamura's first match since coming back, and boy, I missed him. But good lord, can we talk about that opening theme song for Shinsuke? It does have some of his old school theme. That's still there, but it's like auto-tuned. It's awkward, it's a little weird, but I guess I'll get used to it because his presentation is awesome. So Nakamura on the attack early. Andrade does get some good stuff in, including a nasty looking leg whip, whiffs on a moonsault, goes for the message, which is his Judas effect. That gets blocked by Nakamura, who whiffs on a Kinshasa on his own. Then Andrade goes for his knees in the corner move. Nakamura moves, removing the top turnbuckle as well, in which that Andrade ran right into it. Nakamura with the Kinshasa to pick up the win. Definitely not the smoothest Nakamura match I've seen, but it's so good seeing him back. And a very worthy opponent in Andrade. Andrade's killing it. And then post-match, LA Knight comes out. He looks like he's about to attack Nakamura. Nakamura with the black mist right to the face. I'd say in the eyes, but it completely whiffed his eyes and streaked across the bottom half of his lip. In which, honestly, that's probably nasty too, but you know, it's still effective. Although I do have one question: which Japanese star started this mist thing? Because it's weird. So next up, we see the New Blood. So that's Solo, Jacob Fatu, and the Tongans. They're backstage. They're getting ready. Jacob Fatu hyped for his match. Nick Aldis walks in. Says to them, "This match is clearly important, and you guys have been taking advantage of the numbers game. So tonight, 0 numbers game, as everyone is banned from ringside." You kind of see the New Blood shaking their heads. Then Aldis saying, "Do I make myself clear?" New Blood saying, "Yes, sir." I love that we have 2 sets of authority figures that handle stuff differently. Like Otis, he's direct. He gets the job done. Adam Pearce, he's more tactical, let's say. But he's also a bit of a scaredy cat. So, it's definitely cool to see these two sets of authority figures handling stuff very, very differently. So next we see DIY backstage with Ciampa pretty much taking the lead, saying, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. We've been screwed out of our title shot, and I don't want to lose. Gargano then replies, I'm not the one in charge. Ciampa then pretty much immediately interrupts and saying, what changes? Nothing. I see your friendship with the Guns as more important than the tag titles. I'm sick of talking. Unless you got something else going on, we do things my way. I absolutely love this. I hope they're not breaking up DIY and they're turning Gargano heel eventually, because they need that tag team. But seeing heel Tommaso Ciampa back is awesome, because he's been cheerleader for far too long. So next up, we got a little pre-recorded promo from Kevin Owens. He's in like the bowels of the arena, where I think a lot of the Bray Wyatt promos happened in his more recent run. Rest in peace, Mr. Bray Wyatt. And he says, I'm going to tell you why I'm right. And it's all intercutted with footage of the Kevin Owens Bloodline story, and then Cody Rhodes being reintroduced to the company, with Kevin Owens continuing saying, Roman and I went to war for years before Cody came back. And every time I got knocked down, I got back up. And you know where Cody was when Roman needed a partner? Right by his side. Cody is going to be getting the beating he deserves at Saturday night's main event. I can't wait for that match. I can't wait for that event. That's going to be so much fun. So yeah, we got our first official match announcement for Saturday night's main event. Speaking of Cody Rhodes, we go into our next matchup, as it's the WWE Champion Cody Rhodes taking on Carmelo Hayes. Hayes and Cody did have a match when Hayes was first called up. Cody obviously won. But before Hayes gets in the ring, he comes out with a microphone and says, Hey Cody, I've been thinking, Kevin Owens is right. You turned your back on your friends. You stabbed him right in the heart. And you think you can evaluate me? But now you're going to find out that I am him. Nice quick little promo from Carmelo Hayes. And they pretty much get right at it. Like, it did start a little bit slow at first, but eventually we did get right back into it, especially after a big old disaster kick by Cody Rhodes. Hayes blocking a Cody cutter into a leg lariat. He goes up for nothing but net, misses. Cody goes for a crossroads that gets blocked into a suplex, which also gets blocked. Eventually, Cody Rhodes hitting the Cody Cutter, a crossroads, to solidify his victory. Would I have liked to see Carmelo Hayes win? Absolutely. Am I sad Cody Rhodes won? No, definitely not. So, hopefully this is the start of the rebuild of Carmelo Hayes. Well, not that he really needs it. Then we get this weird segment. It's Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman at first. They're sitting around some table somewhere. Honestly, it looks like someone's backyard. Like, I got that vibe. I didn't get the vibe it's in anyone's house or it was backstage somewhere. Looked like it was in someone's backyard. So, Reigns calls for Paul Heyman, asking Paul where CM Punk is. Heyman replies, I don't know. Roman replies, he's keeping me waiting. Then we see CM Punk arriving. He sits down, saying, look, Roman, we don't have a lot of time for this. I didn't show up for you. I showed up for him, pointing to Paul Heyman. Roman says, great, but I don't need your help. Punk then replies again, I'm here for Paul. Roman then replies, I'm happy for you too, but I don't like you. Damn sure not okay with teaming up with you. Then Heyman interjects himself, saying, if we don't accept Punk, it's all over. If Solo puts an end to the bloodline, we fall. But united, we survive. Punk replies, yeah, I don't like you either. It doesn't matter. I want my revenge. And if we do war games, I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to get my hands on the bloodline. Roman replies, what are your terms? Punk replies, you're gonna owe me a favor. Roman then replies, you think I'm gonna keep a favor for you? Punk then says, no, not me a favor. He's gonna owe me a favor, pointing to Heyman. Then Punk gets up, he leaves. Roman then turns to Paul Heyman and says, wise man, what's the deal? Heyman then says, at War Games, I learned to take the best deal. So, a little play on words. Apparently, Paul Heyman and CM Punk have a deal going. So, either we're going to get, in the future, we're going to be seeing Roman versus Punk, or something else is going to happen. I'm not 100% sure. Or maybe Punk gets the main event of WrestleMania, and Roman unwillingly helps him to get there. Which, honestly, that'd be an interesting story. So next up, we got our next first round matchup of the Women's United States title tournament, as Piper Niven takes on Lash Legend, who it was supposed to be Jade Cargill, but she got taken out last week. So Lash is her replacement, along with Mia Yim. So, yeah, this triple threat was very, very interesting. A lot of really good back and forth between these three, including a codebreaker senton from Yim onto the other two, which, that was crazy. While Mia Yim was going for another move, Chelsea Green, who was chilling ringside, attacks Mia from behind, but then B-Fab comes in, attacks Chelsea Green, runs her off. Piper Niven then runs the show for a little bit, including with a nasty-looking cannonball, only for two. Goes for a Death Valley driver that gets blocked into a bunch of splashes. Lash goes for a jumbo choke slam. gets only a 2 count. Piper with a power bomb, only get a 2. Then immediately into a big senton, only for a 2. Piper goes for Piper's line. I guess that's the move. But that gets countered. Do a couple of headbutts. Lash Legend with the lash extension, only for a 2. Hits the senton, then Mia Yim pulls Lash off of Piper. Goes for the pin herself, and gets the 3 count. So Mia Yim is moving on in the tournament. We got one more first round matchup coming. Then after that, it's the semifinals. Then at Saturday night's main event, we crown a new champion. This match was a little awkward to start, but eventually they did get it into gear. And should be interesting. We then get a look at LA Knight, as he's in the trainer's office. He's trying to get, the mist out of his eyes. Then an interviewer walks in. LA Knight's asking, you really want to talk about this right now? I'm trying to get work done, trying to get ready for Survivor Series. But yeah, let's talk about Nakamura. He's away for a long, long time, but now he just walks in and gets a shot. Well, I'm going to walk into Survivor Series, run his butt red, and I'm going to be keeping the title, and it's going to be right here. And Nakamura, I'm going to be dropping you with the BFT for the 1 through 3 the hard way. So, nice little fired up LA Knight. Yeah. It should be interesting Survivor Series to see how that matchup goes. We then get another rundown of the card. Then we see the Usos and Sami Zayn. They're in the back. They're hyping up their man, Jay. They're like, you got this, you're going to get the advantage. Nick Aldis walks in. He says, like I told Solo, I'm telling you this now. No one is allowed ringside. And that includes you, Jimmy. So they high-five each other. Sammy and Jimmy walk off as we get to our main event, which is for the advantage in War Games. As it's Jey Uso taking on Jacob Fatu, making his singles debut for WWE. So, Jacob has pretty much been in multi-man matches his entire run in WWE. Now we get to see him fly solo, and he over-delivered. He pretty much countered everything Jay had in store for him. No-sold a couple of super kicks, that was nuts. But Jay was no slouch either, as one point Jacob goes for a weird swanton senton move, but Jimmy blocks it with his knees, hits a spear, hits an Uso splash, only gets a 2 count, forces him to the outside, hits a dive, setting up the announce table, then eats a super kick from Jacob. Jay is then set on the table. Jacob goes up with him, hits a Samoan drop through it, which that was impressive. Jacob gets Jay back in the ring, hits an Impaler DDT, and one of the freshest moonsaults you will ever see for the 1, 2, 3. So your winner, gaining advantage for the new blood, Jacob Fatu. And as Jacob is going up the ramp, rest of the new blood come out, and they celebrate on the ramp. yeah, Jacob Fatu is absolutely nasty. I cannot wait to see what he can do on his own, as this was just the tip of the iceberg. So, overall, a very eventful episode of SmackDown. Interested to see what happens going forward, especially now with Survivor Series done. Cover that tomorrow. But, yeah, a lot of really good matches, a lot of eventful stuff going on. Yeah. Hopefully the stories continue. So that was WWE SmackDown. We now move into AEW Collision. And we start off with the Continental Classic Gold League matchup as Juice Robinson takes on Will Ospreay. This is not their first time having a match, as they faced each other in New Japan Pro Wrestling for the IWGP United States title, which, that's pretty neat. And honestly, this was pretty much a masterclass, including Juice targeting the taped up bits of Will Ospreay, including whiffing an Ozcutter, which that was wild. Juice Robinson fights back, goes for the right hand of God, whiffs, eats a super kick. Will Ospreay breaks out the Styles Clash, which, okay, only gets a 2 count, hits the Hidden Blade to pick up the win. Yeah, that's definitely the right call. I absolutely love Ospreay. Very energetic opening bout to Collision. We then go to a Mariah May promo, and she is in the room where she attacked Mina Shirakawa last week, saying, "I'm a complicated woman, and why I broke up with Mina? We never broke up. We're closer than ever. How could I not give her a shot at everything she ever wanted? And if this is what it takes to be on top, you want Mina? Here she is. But you cannot say I didn't love you." Ooh, the history between these two. Gonna be a very interesting match at Winter is Coming. Speaking of a very interesting match, we have trios action as the MXM Collective, so that's Mace Madden and Mansoor, teaming up with Johnny TV, aka Johnny Nitro, John Mundo, whatever you want to call this dude, taking on Private Party, the tag team champions, and CMLL's own Mystico, making his return to the company since, I want to say it was Forbidden Door. And yeah, this was a very fun matchup, which honestly I think this should have been the opener. But yeah, a lot of really good stuff going on. One point MXM tried for a heart attack, but that gets blocked. Johnny TV with an enziguri hits the Starship Pain. No, whiffs on the Starship Pain. Mystico takes out the MXM collection, while Private Party hit the Gin and Juice for the win. So, yeah, nice little frantic but chaotic, but controlled frantic matchup with some interesting Lucha Libre sprinkled in. Hopefully we get to see more of these guys, because it's definitely needed. We then go to a backstage interview with Anna Jay, saying, "My career has been full of ups and downs. I put it all on the line with Mariah May. But now, I'm more dangerous than ever because I've got nothing to lose. While I can't challenge for the women's title, there are other titles I can go after, and I'm not afraid of taking the big swing. While I always say try me, maybe it's time I try someone else. So, looks like we're going to get Anna Jay versus Monet in the near future, which, yes please. That'd be awesome. We then get our next match in the Continental Classic. This time it's the Blue League. And it's Kyle Fletcher taking on the Beast Mortos. And good lord, this was a masterclass. Like, I loved the Juice Robinson Will Ospreay match. I think this match was better. Like, it felt like both these guys were hitting each other harder and just going for big move after big move, including a Destroyer DDT by Mortis. Like, obviously, y'all know the Canadian Destroyer. Well, he did the motion, but with his arm, which, that takes skill. Mortis misses with a big moonsault, counters a brainbuster into a Samoan drop, only for a 2 count. Fletcher fights back with a super kick and some clotheslines, eventually hitting the brainbuster to pick up the win and his 3 points. We then get a recap of the Kyle O'Reilly Adam Cole segment from Dynamite, which, not really a big fan of, but we'll see about that. Then we get a backstage, not promo, but argument between Matt Taven and Mike Bennett and Kyle O'Reilly. With Taven starting, "How long do you think I've known you, Adam Cole and Roderick Strong? This is bigger than wrestling. I didn't really understand why you didn't join us at first, but I respected that. We stayed out of your way, but now we honored your wishes. Now you need to honor ours. We're asking you to let us finish this chapter of our careers." Then Kyle just says, "I respect the play," and just walks off, leaving Bennett, Taven, and myself very confused what that means. So, this was definitely a little bit strange. We then get a video replay of the Takeshita Ricochet match from Full Gear, which is up there on my match of the year list. Then we get a backstage promo with Don Callis and Takeshita, with Callis saying, "At Full Gear, we did our thing, but now I want to talk about Takeshita, and what makes me happy, it's what's to come in AEW for this man. It's going to be the year of the Callis family. Now you take it." Takeshita then says a little something in Japanese, then says, "I dominate in this ring. This title, come and take it." Fired up Takeshita. Love to see it. So our next matchup, little tag team action players, as Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd of the Outrunners takes on Bronson and Boulder of the Iron Savages. And pretty much the story of this matchup is the Outrunners trying to body slam Boulder to many failed attempts. Savages did dominate a little bit, but eventually, with a little help, Outrunners did body slam Boulder. Then they did their combination move, which I can only describe as a side slam DDT combination, to pick up the win. And as they're celebrating, FTR music hits. They get in the ring. They do the Mega Powers handshake. And, yeah, that's it with that. I'm a little sad they're squashing the Iron Savages. Those two are very entertaining, although I could live without Jack Jameson. But, yeah, I'm happy to see the Outrunners on my TV. Then we get a solo Max Caster interview. No rest of the Acclaimed, with Caster saying this: Swerve is obviously acting crazy. He attacked me last week. Swerve, look at me. You don't deserve these opportunities. But this Wednesday, I'm giving you the opportunity of lifetime. I want to face you on Dynamite. And while Bowens is pissed, I told the rest of the Acclaim to take the week off. But I know they'll have my back against Swerve. And Swerve, I hope you're ready to take this ass whooping like a man. Max Caster turning heel solo. Potentially joining the Hurt Syndicate? I'm in. We then get another absolute banger. This time it's Hangman Adam Page taking on Wheeler Yuta. And this was a hard-hitting, really technical affair, honestly. Really good back and forth matchup, with each man not seeming like they want to win the match, but seeming like they wanted to just kill each other. At one point, while Wheeler Yuta had Hangman in the knee bar, from the crowd you see Pac and Claudio Castagnoli, his teammates, coming down to at least a certain section of the crowd. They're sitting there, they're watching a little bit of the rest of the match. Yuta tries to lock in a figure 4, but that gets blocked. Hangman tries for a powerbomb, that gets blocked as well. Hangman goes for the box shot, but he's stopped short with his knee. Wheeler Yuta hits the seatbelt, only for a 2 count, which brings out Moxley and Marina Shafir to join Pac and Claudio. Then Hangman Page hits the Deadeye to pick up the win. Then post-match, you see Hangman Page attacking Wheeler Yuta the entire time, looking up into the crowd at the rest of the Death Riders. Then Hangman goes on the outside, grabs a steel chair, brings it back in the ring, puts it over the neck of Wheeler Yuta. Looks like he was about to stomp him like they did Chuck Taylor. But then out comes Jay White. He's holding his own chair. He runs off Hangman Adam Page, takes the chair off of Wheeler Yuta, and then just hits him with a Blade Runner. So, yeah, this combination is interesting. I'm not sure where it's going, but I'm intrigued. Then we get a Thunder Rosa backstage promo. She says, I've been seeing the best of CMLL, but this girl who thinks she's a computer, she sees everyone stabbing everyone else in the back, while I want to be on top, and after I'm done with Holly Graham, I'm going to keep an eye on the title match, and that Winter is Coming. while winter is coming, I never left. So, nice hyped up promo from Thunder Rosa. We then try to get a Hangman Adam Page interview. Hangman doesn't want to talk to the interviewer. Walks a little bit down the hall. Runs into Christopher Daniels, who says to Hangman, look, I'm not talking to you as EVP, but as a fellow wrestler. This new attitude is poisoning you. It's going to get you hurt. Hangman then replies, don't tell me who I am. Don't tell me who I need to be. I do what I do, and the last thing I need is advice from an old man like you. Holy Nikes. He then walks off with Daniels with just this dejected look on his face. Man, this story has so many twists and turns. It's going to be crazy to see what happens next. Speaking of next, we got our obligatory women's match of the evening, as it's Mina Shiratakula taking on Layla Gray. And what was an entertaining TV match. Nothing really super special, although a lot of times Layla Gray did counter the glamorous driver, and she held her own pretty much until the end, in which Mina hits the glamorous driver to pick up the win. Yeah, I'm going to say this. Layla Gray has definitely been growing on me. I love her association with Top Flight. It's going to be interesting to see where she goes from here. And of course, Mina has her title match with Mariah May coming up. We then go backstage to a Willow Nightingale interview. Super happy she's back. And she says, it's always great to be back. I saw the whole thing about the Women's Cup at Wrestle Dynasty. And it just felt right that I represent AEW. A lot of people have called me an international star. I've been champion everywhere else. And this just feels right. And while I didn't win the women's title, I'm going to do this and bring home the win. And how do you not love Willow Nightingale? Her attitude is so good, so pure. She's honestly what I feel like Bayley could have been in her original incarnation. Not to say Bayley was bad. I love Bayley. And then we get our main event, as it's the next match in the Blue League for the Continental Classic, as it's Continental Champion Kazuchika Okada taking on TNT Champion Daniel Garcia. And Okada looks like he's going in for a handshake to start off. Garcia goes in to try. Okada flips him the bird. Which, I'm going to say this. As much as I like Rainmaker, super athlete Okada, Troll Okada is hilarious. Like, it's something a little different than just plain Okada. And in this match, woo, boy, they beat everything out of each other, including Garcia multiple times countering out of the Rainmaker. Garcia at one point hits a sleeper penalty kick combination a la Katsuyori Shibata, who I miss dearly. Then we get Garcia locking in the sharpshooter, but Okada makes it to the ropes. Then we see a massive dropkick by Garcia. It then looks like something happens with Okada. Ref's checking on him. Then Garcia kind of gets in his way a little bit. Okada then grabs a chair. Ref's distracted. Big old chair shot from Okada, who then hits a DDT, only to get a 2 count. Garcia fights back, hits a massive superplex, only for a 2. Goes for the sharpshooter again. This time it gets countered. Okada goes for a big splash that misses into a neck breaker. One point, Okada is going for the Rainmaker. Garcia trips him up right into an ankle lock, but Okada makes it into the ropes. Okada goes for a dropkick, gets caught. Garcia tries for a sharpshooter that gets blocked. Dueling roll-ups. Another whiff on the Rainmaker. Okada with a bunch of body slams into the Rainmaker. But Garcia rolls to the outside. Eventually locking in the sharpshooter. Gets him in the middle of the ring. Sits down. Then we hear ding, 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 ding. We have reached the time limit, so this match ends in a draw. So each man gets 1 point for that draw. They both get up. Okada, again, extends his hand for a handshake. Garcia goes for it. Okada with to end the show. Definitely a very entertaining episode of Collision. I'm going to say this. If you're not watching Collision, you are definitely missing out on some good stuff. Especially with the integration of the Continental Classic. It's definitely an interesting time. So, that will do it for this week in wrestling. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Obviously, tomorrow is going to be my Survivor Series review. Stay tuned for that. Should be a good one. And then coming this Friday is my coverage of Raw, NWA Power, and AEW Dynamite. So, hope you stay tuned for that. Till next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.